The Crew 2. Where are all the JDM cars at? Where are they at? Yes, welcome back to the channel, fellas. Welcome back to the channel, fellas. So I decided I wanted to get the feelers. I wanted to get a bit more feedback from you guys in relation to your thoughts on what you've seen so far from the Crew 2. And as you know, I did this by putting out a message on my YouTube community tab to facilitate this. Now, as I mentioned in the Q&A video that I dropped a couple of days ago, me being an idiot wasn't expecting so many responses from you very fine people. At the time of recording this video, we are now well on the way to 400, and because of that, as you would expect, it's not possible to put every single one of those comments into one video and do shout outs and respond to every single question. So what I decided to do, my genius kicked in. I decided I was going to take different topics and talk about them separately. So the first video was obviously Q&A. Today is a topic, probably the most common and most popular topic that kept popping up in that comment section: JDM cars, Japanese vehicles, the drift machines, the street cars, the rally thoroughbreds, all that VTech goodness. There just seems to be a... You know what? Let me read out these comments. So first up, we've got Jeremy Johnson, who says, we need Evos and WRXs. They will be cool for rally races. Then we've got Logan Bishop. They need more JDM cars, plain and simple. Prius Killer. The Crew 2 does look very promising, especially with the TDU influence. I just wish there were more Japanese cars though. And I wish you continue killing Priuses because they're useless and stupid in every conceivable way. And they're murderous cars as well because of how silent they are. You'll never hear someone when they creep up on you. We've got Carlos Barbarena. I'm not going to read out the whole paragraph here, but the last line he's got here is PS. More JDM cars would be fantastic. We've got Nico the Shadow. I love where the game is going, but if I'm honest, I'll be glad if they added some more uncommon Japanese cars to the game, such as Mazda MX-6, Toyota Sierra, and Nissan Pulsar. We've got Lewis the Boss, who says, need more JDM style cars. I know Toyota pulled out of many games, so no Supra maybe, except GT Sport obviously. The Evo 9 and 10 are a must-have in racing games. The Subaru 22B and WRX STI, the EK9 Silvia, NSX, S2K, and the other 2000 GT are all iconic JDM cars that, in my opinion, should be there from the start. We've got the Red Bull 03. We would need a rallycross version of the Civic, and of course more rally cars like Evo, Subis, and maybe the mighty Quattro to challenge the Delta S4s. Brickmaster. Crew 2 looks lit, but can we have more JDM cars please? Happy face. Fat Loaf You guys, man, you guys have got some crazy names, man. We need more JDM cars and fast sedans like Lexus IS series or the Audi A series. Lexus won't be in the game, sir, because Lexus are a subsidiary of Toyota, and Toyota are just... let's just say Toyota are just being Toyota at the moment. Keep it sideways, ZZ. Will we see more JDM cars added? We've got Remember the Old Times. I hope they add cars like the Impreza and Evo. Well, at least the Impreza, since that's Subarus, and we did have Subaru in the Crew 1. That's true. This is very true. We did have a Subaru in the Crew 1, and I believe it was the BRZ, or BRZ as you guys across the pond like to call it. Was that a GT86? Either way, it was one of the two. We've got Domin Cox, who says, I think we need JDM cars there, as I remember there is only the RX-7. ML the Gamer 16. JDM cars are needed. Hope they release some in any future update. Han Solo. We need Mitsubishis. We do. Auris. What about Mitsubishi? Sono. More JDM cars would be a welcome feature, but also some of the more unpopular yet cool cars such as the Alfa Giulia, Kias, and so on. It's chills. More iconic 80s and 90s. You see, there's a reoccurring theme here. Sarius_Hi. The game looks very good, much better than the last game, but I was hoping for more Japanese cars. Bish La Bosch. Two things. One, get rid of Rubber Banding. That's not going to happen. Two, where are the JDM? Amrovalanche. We need more JDMs. Mitsubishis, Eclipse, Evos, Subarus, BRZs, WRX sedans, and others. Reeves World. We need the 959 road car, more Subarus, more VWs, more Nissan, more Mitsubishi, more Renault, and maybe Holden since we got Renault. Kyle. We need for JDM cars, but other than that, dribble, heart. Raphael Nicholas. I really wish there was an R32, and the fact that a Huracan and F12 are in the same class as MX-5 bothers me. Ryan W. Absolutely love how the game is turning out, however there is gaps in the tuner car list. For example, older generation Skylines and Silvias. Mikhail Abdullah. We need more Skylines like the Godzilla R34 GTR. Wait a minute, the R34's in the game, I think. Didn't Theo go and customize that on his channel? I'm sure Of course he did, because I was sitting next to him when he actually built that car. No, that car's in the game, sir. You're good to go on that one. Civil War. More import cars like the Supra or the Evo. Once again, Supra will not be in the game. You need to go and speak to Toyota about that and find out why. Pedro F. The game has no reason not to include any Subarus, both the Impreza and BRZ or Evos. Easy G's. Now in the middle of his comment he says, but yeah, the car list, I'm missing a lot of JDM cars and so on and so forth, and I'm not a big fan of boats and okay, cool. But mainly JDMs is what he's on about. Stars Van Byle. I hope I pronounced your name right. If I didn't, let me know in the comments, sir. Need more JDM cars like WRX, R32, S13, S14, S15, Supra, S2000s and Evos. Monolithic, 99 Eclipse, GSX and more JDM, Nissan, Datsun and the original NSX. Snoop and Boop. Hope to see Evos and WRXs in the future, please. Crunchy Crouton. Since they brought fenders to this game, they need wheel offset, more JDM cars. Supon Madawala, Cops would be a good addition, bring Evos, WRXs, Subaru would be a good choice for rally racing. Will Smith, with 2 Fs, give me Cops back and some more Japanese cars and this will be the game of my wet dreams, you dirty pervert, you should be ashamed of yourself. We've got Dragon Ball Goku, more JDM and European cars. The Ginger Ninja, the game is amazing. It has really taken racing games to a whole new level. I definitely agree with you on that one, sir. The only issue I have is that there is no WRXs or Evos. Perfect off-road cars. Other than that, the game is a solid 10 out of 10. And finally, we've got Legend 27. Everything looks amazing so far, but I am still upset to see there is still a lack of JDMs like in the first game. Now, I say that's the last one. That's actually not the last comment. That's just the last comment I was able to gather due to time restraints. There are lots and lots and lots more of these comments relating to JDM cars, Japanese cars, suggestions for different types of cars from that ilk, from those origins to be added into the game. Now, I'm going to be totally honest with you guys. When I actually got to the location upon where they invited us to come and play the game, the first thing I did, well, the second thing I did, I should say, was I jumped straight into the car list and I went searching. I was searching for JDM cars. I was looking for as many Japanese vehicles as possible. And I'm going to be honest, I was slightly disappointed to find out that there was hardly any. I think the biggest issue that I've got is not just the fact that there isn't many JDM cars in the game, or Japanese cars I should say, but the fact that there isn't many representatives across different brands. Now, from what I remember, we've got Nissan represented by the 370Z, the R34 Skyline, the R35, and my personal favourite, Bay, the Fair Lady Z Datsun 432 as some people like to refer to it. Now, there are obviously no Silvias in the game, but it's still easy to suggest that Nissan are still decently represented. A nice little selection there. But then when you move over to a manufacturer such as Honda, they only have one car. And it's not a car that has got any iconic or legendary status. It's the 2015 Honda Civic hatch. Now, if you look at Mazda, they're represented quite well. They've obviously got the RX-7 and the MX-5, which are the two main Mazdas that you want. Me personally, I'm also a fan of the RX-8, but out of the three, if there was one that was going to be missed out, it would probably be the RX-8 that you miss out due to popularity. As I said, I love the RX-8, but I'm aware that it's not as popular as the MX-5 and the RX-7. So all is not lost with Mazda. There are no Toyotas, there are no Lexuses, but that's a totally different situation. As I've said in previous videos, Toyota have pulled out of arcade races for the time being. They are only featuring their cars in sim races. If you want to drive the Toyota Supra or a Lexus-based vehicle, you're gonna have to go and pick up a copy of GT Sport or Project Cars, or maybe even Forza Motorsport 7, because you're not gonna find them in Need for Speed, you're not gonna find them in the Crew, so you've got to go to Toyota and take that out with them. Now, when it comes to Mitsubishi, for some reason, again, there just isn't any representative cars from that manufacturer in the game. I have no understanding as to why, especially as now we're focusing more on a motorsports theme. Mitsubishi has got a steep heritage in motorsport, especially off-roading like rally cars and whatnot, as a lot of you guys have pointed out. The same with Subaru. But speaking of Subaru, that's probably the most confusing situation of all. There are no Subarus in the game, and as someone pointed out, there was a Subaru in the previous game, the BRZ, whatever you want to call it. It's a backward step. I don't understand it. I need help in understanding it. Now, am I upset about this? Of course I am, because I love Japanese cars. I love JDM vehicles. Am I going to criticize them? No, I'm not going to criticize them. I'm not going to criticize Ivory Tower over this because there has to be a logical reason as to why so many anomalies are here. There's got to be a reason why all these cars are missing from the game's car list. Now, I've got a couple of theories in my head. The first theory is that maybe this is pointing towards a potential JDM or Japanese car pack later on down the line, just to give the game a new lease of life, maybe 6 or maybe 12 months after release. My second theory is maybe the car models are just not ready yet. Now, we've seen this happen before. We saw this happen in Need for Speed Payback, whereby they released cars and those cars were actually in the trailers, but they weren't actually on the game's car list at launch. And part of the reason apparently was because some of the models just weren't ready in time. Now, The Crew 2 is a way more ambitious game than Payback. I don't care if you're a Payback fanboy, real recognize real, we've got to be honest here. The Crew 2 is probably the most ambitious racing title of recent times, from how big the world is, to the graphical fidelity, to the different types of vehicles, event types, etc. It wouldn't surprise me if they still need a little bit more time to build these car models, because what you've got to remember is these cars that we're talking about, majority of them weren't even in the previous game, apart from the BRZ or BRZ, whatever you want to call it. So there's no way that they're just going to import these assets from game to game. They'll probably have to build them from scratch, render them, do the physics model, make all the component parts for customization, etc. So maybe that's what's going on here. But the thing is, I've got a third theory. A third theory is to do with exclusivity. Now, if you think about it, majority of the cars that you guys have actually mentioned as suggestions are in a rival game, Forza Horizon. There's a possibility that Microsoft Studios could potentially have bought the license to have those cars feature in Forza exclusively, which effectively blocks out any rival game or publishing company from actually featuring those cars. Now, this has happened before. If I'm not mistaken, Need for Speed actually had an exclusive deal with Porsche, which prevented Porsche vehicles from appearing in other games. But then I went away and thought about this and I realized that this theory falls flat on its face. It doesn't make sense, because a lot of those cars that we mentioned are not just in Forza Horizon, they're also in Need for Speed as well. So theory number 3 doesn't make sense. And the reason why I put that out there was just in case any of you guys were thinking that, to show you that no, that can't be the case. It's not down to exclusivity. So it's left me in a position where for the first time since 1937, to steal a quote from Jeremy Clarkson, I actually have no answer here. I'm scratching my head, I'm searching for answers, I'm rubbing my beard. I don't know what the reason is. All I can do is hope and pray. All we can do is hope and pray. We can stand outside the Ivory Tower building, wherever it is, with candles, taking part in vigils and singing hymns together in prayer that somehow Fergus, and I know you're watching this, Fergus, but somehow he manages to get some of these cars in the game. I don't expect him to get every single suggestion, but it's just weird to have rallycross style events and not have 2 of the most thoroughbred rally brands in the game, Subaru and Mitsubishi. It's weird to have a whole load of cars that compete in drift competitions and there's hardly any Japanese representatives. This is the one area of the game that I really hope that they can nail and improve and get sorted out. In my eyes, the game is already brilliant. It's fantastic. It is improved over the previous game tenfold. In every single conceivable way, the Crew 2 is better than the Crew 1. Not only that, but I feel that the Crew 2 has actually got a shot at being the best open arcade racing game of this generation and taking its place next to other legendary titles. But this situation here could potentially be the difference between a very good game and a legendary game. Now, it's actually the worst kept secret that Ivory Tower are one of the best development teams when it comes to listening to what fans want and acting on what fans want. For those of you who may not know, the Wild Run DLC was hugely inspired by what fans were requesting. Majority of that, a lot of those ideas came directly from suggestions that you guys were throwing out. And I think the same applies to the Calling All Units DLC as well. So this is where you guys are now going to help. This is where I'm going to hand the baton or baton or even the torch over to you guys. In the comment section, in a couple of sentences, no more than 2 or 3 sentences, jot down the reason as to why you want Japanese or JDM cars in the game, okay? Don't just actually put the cars you want, but put a tangible reason as to why. It doesn't matter if you go through the comments and find someone else has got the exact same reasoning as yours, because your reason is your reason, okay? Don't let that deter you. Once you've done that, hit the like button and then share the video across all of your social media groups, whether it be Facebook groups, Google+, Discord, Car Throttle, Twitter, Reddit, so that if this topic was already on Ivory Tower's to-do list, it gets pushed higher up, and if it wasn't on there in the first place, it gets put on there. Let's try and get as many people behind this as possible. I mean, at the end of the day, if you want something, you gotta ask, right? Of course. And that's pretty much it. So thank you so much for taking the time out to watch this video. If you didn't get a chance to see the Crew 2 Q&A session that I did, you should be seeing that popping up on your screen now. And beside that, you should be seeing a link to all the other Crew 2 coverage videos that I've been putting out. If it's your first time around here, I wish you a warm welcome, and I will see you when the next video comes out. Take it easy, please.